was a good script and good director. I don't know, it's very hard to give solid answers. Talking to the director when we were making it, I said I just wanted to make sure that there was a dimension to this priest that made him very human and open to all his own doubts and lack of faith and his struggles with his own inherent atheism or disbelief. Goes through the dark night of the soul, which he describes, about his loneliness and his living in hell when he loses faith totally in God. But it comes back and he's cast back into the light again from the darkness, ex umbris ad lucem. And those are the parts that I really enjoyed, is expressing the man's unease with himself, with his own doubts. And then he's challenged by the young priest who doubts totally, rejects his ideas of a diabolical presence. And I said, well, okay, I respect that, but be careful. And I like that, Mum, just be careful. And so my favorite line in the movie is that, by not believing in him won't protect you from him. And I noticed, I saw the little audience the other day and people, it's a little scary. But I think people like to be, they don't like to be scared, but you said you would find it scary and it makes you uneasy. I think we all like to, every human being likes to flirt with that idea of their own inner chaos and catastrophe, because the final catastrophe of his life is, it's not a catastrophe, but it's our mortality, our finite existence. So we take a little sidelong glance at it and we go to the movies to watch films like this, or Rosemary's Baby, or The Exorcist, or The Shining, or Silence of the Lambs, whatever it is, because we give ourselves a little shock that we know we can come out in the sunlight on Westwood Boulevard and have our popcorn or whatever, or go for a coffee afterwards and have a discussion. But it's a bit of a thrill. It's like reading Edgar Allan Poe. Or reading The House of Usher, or reading anything that's dark. I just know how to do it. I don't know why I do it. I don't know how to do it. It's just a look. I know it's scary. I'm playing this part when the young man comes into the room. Is you don't have to do much. There are lines when he comes in the room, Mrs. Father Lucas says, "Oh, he's not here at the moment. He's out." The audience goes, we're dealing with a nut. So it's very easy to say, "No, he's out at the moment. Totally, he's not here. Close the door, please. We don't want to be disturbed, do we?" Boom, the door closes on its own. That's enough to scare the hell out of people. So I don't have to act, I say, "Sit down, please. Hello, Clarice." All that stuff. And I think they put that special effects on. I was kind of surprised that they put so much on at the end. But no, I didn't have any makeup. It was just, there's some, computer stuff they do after the film. I did all the voices myself, though. All that was my stuff. It was the most beautiful city I've been in for a long time. I look back on it with great nostalgia. We arrived on May the 22nd, I remember, Saturday night. We drove from Venice, from Rome, spent one night in Venice, and then drove across Slovenia into Budapest about 8 o'clock at night, and it was raining and it was beautiful. And that was a Saturday. On the Sunday morning, I woke up and I walked over the bridge to Buda. Beautiful city. And just outside the hotel, I was staying at the Four Seasons. There's a street that goes up to St. Michael's, I think St. Stephen's Cathedral. What's it, St. Michael's? St. Stephen's, I think. This beautiful cathedral, which was not that old. It was probably 19th century. I went into the churches where Elizabeth of Austria was crowned. Fascinating country, and fortunately, it's been preserved. The Hungarians, resilient, tough people, they suffered under Nazism and they survived that, and the tough communist regime where they didn't have any, people were very closed down, they were censored, and there was no sense of freedom there, but they muddled along, and I think once the collapse of the Iron Curtain country after Gorbachev, and taking down the wall of Berlin, I think people could breathe a sigh of relief. But they were still a little nervous. You know, it's very closely seared in their memories that it wasn't the best life to live. But fortunately, nothing was destroyed. The architecture of the places, Buda, and it's interesting, over Buda you still see the machine gun holes in the walls with the uprisings and the partisans fighting against the Germans, and really interesting. Well, I was intrigued and interested. I've never delved into exorcism, but I'd never played it. I don't think I've ever played a priest before. But when I was talking to Michael Hofstrom, I said I'd like to give him another dimension of a man who is himself going through grave doubts and crisis in his life. There's a scene in the film where they cut it out, actually. It wasn't because it was unnecessary for the film. But there's a scene, a little bit of information, where I say to the young priest at the beginning of the film, I said, my mother died when I was a young man. I was very angry at God, and I gave it up. I said, here I am in Rome. So much for all dressed up for the carnival, which they've kept in, the final exorcism scene. The destiny brought me there. There's a scene where I say, there are times when I really don't know whether I believe in God, Santa Claus, or Tinkerbell, but I keep going, and in the darkness I feel God's fingernails scratching around inside me until I'm cast out from the darkness back into the light, ex umbris ad lucem, or something like that, I say, just to throw it away. And that's what I wanted to do, a man who would never preach at the young priest. You've got to believe. He said, well, if you don't believe, that's up to you, but I do believe, and that's my life. I don't preach anyone what I believe. I believe what I believe, and I never get in people's way. If an atheist wants to challenge me, I'd say, well, good, okay, give me your best shot. I won't argue. What's the point of arguing? All I know is that I'm glad I have an open window in my soul. I don't want to be living in a closed grey room like Jean-Paul Sartre, huis clos, no exit. Great writer that he was. But no, I'd rather live in doubt. I'd rather live with uncertainty, which we have no choice. Nothing is certain. Everything is uncertain. No, I gave him a bad time. No, I'd say to him, I said, is this the way you're going to play the part? He said, no, it's your career. No, he's a wonderful actor. And this is his first movie. And also, his agent phoned him and said, I want you to do a film test. He said, he lives in a little town outside of Dublin. And he hadn't worked for some time. And his friend from next door, I met him actually, came out to Budapest to visit him, filmed him, and a scene from the movie. Then I met him out here. Michael Hofstrom said, we've got this wonderful actor. Would you like to? I said, yeah. He said, would you do a film test with him? Because they want to make sure at the studio that... I said, well, so we met at a Shutters Hotel. They had a little video camera, or DVD camera, or what you call it, digital camera. And we did a little bit of a scene, and he seemed pretty good to me. And then Michael phoned me, the director phoned me, he said, what do you think? I said, wow, he's pretty good, isn't he? And he still didn't know whether he'd got the part or not. I think the studio, for business reasons, were thinking about getting a kind of name actor for the part, and then some wisdom prevailed, and I think Michael Hofstrom and the producers said, no, let's go for this unknown actor, because we don't want the information of somebody who's a star actor, So he turns up on the first day, and I said, how are you feeling? He said, I feel very nervous. I said, oh, well, don't be, just enjoy it. I'm really impressed by him. He's such a nice guy as well. He's married, and his mother and father came out to Budapest, and he's very much an Irish boy, lives in a small town in Ireland. And I think they're having a showing of this in Dublin for some charity of his, or his brother's charity. But what I like about Colin is that he's a very modest guy, I said, don't lose the modesty. Don't lose that. I like young actors. They're great to work with.